College football has always had a special place in my heart, and through this channel, I hope to study the idea of fandom and the community building sports creates. One of the things that makes college football so amazing is the tradition each and every school has. In this series, I want to dive deep into those traditions and understand the history behind them and experience them myself. With that being said, with this being the 100-year anniversary of the 12-man tradition, I thought there was no better place to start this series. Back in the early 1900s, Texas A&M was a small school with about 1,500 students at the time. It felt like a remotely located school, and it was described as a small little country college. It focused in agriculture and engineering, but it's become known for so much more, especially the 12th-man tradition. So where does the 12th-man tradition come from? Well, it comes from a guy by the name of Earl King Gill, who was originally from Dallas, Texas. He was a three-sport athlete that would go on to star in football, basketball, and baseball. He also became a student in the Corps of Cadets. He stood at 6'3", 6'4", which made him a big guy for the time. At first, the basketball team went after him, focusing him as a center forward. In football, he played anything from split end to running back and even defensive back. At the time, players went both ways, so roster size really didn't need to be that big. At the time, Texas A&M had a squad of about 36 players, but for the traveling squad, there were only 17 to 20 players. King Gill was mainly a practice squad player, so he would leave the football team early to play basketball in late November. A&M played Center College in the Dixie Classic, which was one of the few bowl games during that time period, and it was played in Dallas, where King Gill was from. So what made this so special is, at the time, King Gill was on the basketball team. He had left the football team, but the team allowed the players to go home for New Year's break. So King Gill hitchhiked back to Dallas to see his family. With him being home and the Aggies playing so close by, he decided to hitchhike over to Fair Park and walked in with the teams, almost kind of sneaking in. For the game, a Waco journalist needed a spotter, so the team offered King Gill to be that guy since he was on the sidelines anyways and knew every player on the team. The head coach at the time was Dana X. Bible. Bible only took 16 to 17 players to the game, and Center College was big and talented. They were 10-0 and became the first team since 1918 and outside the East to beat Harvard, a juggernaut at the time. They were the #1 team in the nation at the time as well. The Aggies were destroyed by injuries. During this time period, if you didn't have 11 players, you would have to forfeit the game. Bible was preparing for the worst, so he waved up to King Gill to come down from the press box and to get dressed. Gill told the Post, Bible told him, "Boy, it doesn't look like I'm going to have enough players to finish the game. You may have to go in there and stand around for a little." He put on Hein Weir's uniform and stood ready to go. When the game came to an end, he was the only person standing on the sideline as the Aggies beat Center College 22 to 14. Here is an excerpt from Gill talking about the situation.
A lot of our players, we lost most of our backfield men. We ended up the first half, we had no more substitutes. And here I saw somebody waving to me to come down and get in uniform. When we got out of the stand, it was entirely open, but we took a couple of blankets, and they took Heine Weir's uniform off and put it on me, put my clothes on him. And that's the way I went out to sit on the bench, and later on to become the 12th man. During the days of radio, when I believe they had a program called the Pigskin Parade, they asked that A&M dramatized an incident for radio. And E.E. McQuillan, who was the former secretary of the Ex-Students Association, thought of this incident. And he dramatized it and put it in story form. And that's the way the tradition started. But I've never thought that the 12th man really belonged to our personality. It belongs to the A&M student body.
So after this game, he would go on to become a great athlete for Texas A&M and finished as the last All-Southwest Conference player in all three sports. He coached football in Greenville, Texas before going to Baylor's medical school and later serving in World War II. While in World War II, he put together a distinguished record in the US and Philippines. After the war, he started an ear, nose, and throat practice in Corpus Christi. So the 12th man tradition started because he stood ready for his team and has grown vigorously throughout the student body since. In 1941, the 12th man song was written by Little Munnery and is now only sung after the Aggies have been outscored. In 1950, the 12th man foundation was formed, which funds scholarship programs and facilities in support of championship athletics. In 1968, the 12th man is here banner was unveiled by the student section. In 1980, a life-size bronze statue of E. King Gill was unveiled. In the 1980s, Coach Jackie Sherrill started the 12th man kickoff team, which was composed of all walk-ons. They held opponents to one of the lowest yards per return average in the league. Head coach R.C. Slocum changed it to be one representative of the 12th man. In 1998, a new tradition was born with the maroon out to wash out the red and white of Nebraska. Maroon shirts were sold at a low cost, and some Nebraska fans even bought the shirts and wore them even though they were supporting Nebraska. In 1988, Kyle Field had the home of the 12th man added, and since the 90s, Texas A&M has had 1,990 trademarks issued and over 500 trademark infringements issued. The school trademarked it and has had multiple legal battles with the Seahawks, Colts, and Bills. In 2014, they broke the NCAA student section attendance record with 4,032 students in their matchup against Ole Miss. They averaged 38 students per game, which is one of the highest in the nation. A new 12-foot statue of E. King Gill was also unveiled in 2014. Along with that, they also raised the 12th man flag. They have also since renamed the athletic website to the12thman.com and all social medias to @the12thman. This year, they will celebrate the 100-year anniversary of this special tradition. The 12th man tradition is so interesting to me, and from my research, some say the 12th man tradition story is kind of exaggerated, but at the same time, the idea of traditions and the slight exaggerations make these things so special. The story of E. King Gill is so amazing because it's one of those things where it could have not happened had the basketball team not let the players out for New Year's break, or had he decided not to hitchhike over to the stadium. He also couldn't have not been let into the game as he snuck in with the team in a sort of way. The 12th man tradition is one of those special things and one of the prides of college football. It is a tradition I hope I get to experience down the road, and just seeing over 38,000 students in stands is just amazing. I decided to reach out a few weeks ago to ask some Texas A&M fans what the 12th man tradition meant to them, and Lost Aggie 66 basically explained it's a sense of brotherhood. We are always ready to help the Aggies win at any time. And that, when it comes to fandom, is such a special idea to me and why I wanted to start this series with the 12th man tradition. I think everybody should try to experience this tradition down the road, and I think it's one of those things that really shows the embodiment of how special college football can be. My goal with this channel going forward, hopefully into this fall, is to get to experience all these different traditions and vlog them for you guys. So I could meet you guys, have fans show me what makes their tradition so special, and down the road, I hope to write a book or two about these fandom experiences. I hope to travel the world and experience different sports fandom traditions, and just this sense of community and tradition and the brother and sisterhood that comes from these traditions is just so amazing. I love college football traditions, and I love sporting traditions in general. Whether it's the 12th man or jump around at Wisconsin, or even the Green Bay Packers being a fan-owned franchise. These things just make sports so special and so different than anything else. What do you think? What is your favorite college football tradition? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for daily college football content, and check out one of my other videos the algorithm knows you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.